Hi guys, a few days ago I highlighted the point that Reform UK should probably change its name to Reform GB, as it doesn't seem to be standing candidates in Northern Ireland. Ben Habib, the go-to guy for Northern Ireland in Reform, was asked about this on Talk TV, where he waffled and suggested that it wasn't completely off the table. Then he made a statement that made completely no sense whatsoever, that the DUP should run in England, Scotland and Wales. Have a listen to this.
Big article on the front page of the Sunday Times talking about how Richard Tice, and of course you are deputy leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice is the leader, saying that he's assured members of Reform that they will be standing candidates at every single constituency when it comes to the next election, other than Northern Ireland. And that immediately made me think of your anger about Northern Ireland being left behind. Surely that would be somewhere that you'd want to stand candidates, because you would want them to be able to have their voice heard if they are as angry as you are. So why aren't Reform standing candidates there?
So just to clarify what Richard said,
yeah,
we're committed to standing in every seat in Great Britain, committed to it.
Yeah.
But he didn't say we're not going to stand in Northern Ireland.
Okay.
You're not going to stand in Northern Ireland because you would lose your deposit. You're probably going to lose your deposit in most constituencies, probably all of them, but certainly in Northern Ireland, because there is no Conservative and Labour Party in Northern Ireland. Now, he'll go on to explain that. But this is a guy who keeps banging on about how Northern Ireland is being left behind. And Reform UK can't be bothered to even run against Sinn Féin, for example, or the SDLP or the Alliance Party. Why won't they do that? You know, or run against the DUP, but they wouldn't do that.
To be clear on that, Northern Ireland, of course, doesn't have any representation from Labour or the Conservative Party. And, you know, one of the reasons Northern Ireland keep repeatedly getting shafted, for want of a better word, by Westminster is because it doesn't have Labour MPs or Conservative MPs. But because it doesn't, and because our fight principally is with the uni party that is the Con Lab socialist progressive party that governs Westminster, you know, we're concentrating our fight naturally in Great Britain. But it's an excellent article. But before we discuss that, can I just...
But sorry, just to press you on that, though. Yeah. Why isn't there more of a commitment to do Northern Ireland if you are, as a party, and yourself, so...
Northern Ireland's destiny...
But, like, you know, Reform has already selected candidates for 440 seats and intends to stand in all constituencies, bar those in Northern Ireland. So that does sound like you've either not chosen them in Northern Ireland or not made a full decision yet.
So this is the ridiculousness of devolution. Northern Ireland's destiny isn't determined by what happens in Northern Ireland.
Sorry? What? So this is the guy who has supported the DUP in refusing to go into the executive, saying that if you don't go into the executive, you're going to be able to bring down the Northern Ireland Protocol. He's joined the DUP and other people for taking cases against the Northern Ireland Protocol. And now he's saying, well, Northern Ireland doesn't actually have a choice. Which is it, Ben? Is it that you have a choice by not going into the executive to bring down the Northern Ireland Protocol, or Northern Ireland doesn't have a choice, has no influence? Which is it, Ben? Because in one case you're lying.
It's determined by what happens principally in the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. They don't really have a say in what happens to them. And one of the things I've been saying to the Democratic Unionist Party of Northern Ireland is that Sir Geoffrey, who I like enormously, needs to bring the DUP out of Northern Ireland into Great Britain. You can't genuinely be a unionist party, in my view, without seeking to have representation in the region that really matters, which is Great Britain, where the...
This is insane. This is insane. The DUP should field candidates in England, Scotland and Wales. Just think about that for a moment. The DUP, former leader of the DUP, believed that the earth is between 6,000 and 10,000 years old. Didn't believe in dinosaurs. Maybe they were planted by the devil or something there to test people's faith. The DUP, a party stuck in 1690. You know, a sectarian party. This is the guy. This guy wants the DUP to field candidates in Northern Ireland. The DUP support is bouncing about in Northern Ireland. It has declined somewhat, it has increased somewhat. They don't have a chance in England, Scotland or Wales. The DUP represent an old mentality, a backward mentality. You know, the Conservatives are pretty backward, but they're not as extreme to the right as the DUP. The DUP would not have a chance in England, Scotland or Wales. They represent the past, not the future. They're the party of no. They don't care about moving forward. They want to move backwards. Maybe this is more in line with Reform UK. Now, one little caveat here. There is the possibility that under proportional representation, that the DUP or something like the DUP could could win seats in Parliament, but under proportional representation, but not under the current model. So this idea of, because there are enough crazy people in England, Scotland and Wales to vote for something like the DUP, but they're a party of the past. They're not a party of the future. They're not really even a unionist party. I have criticised them before. I've said their hatred of Ireland and the European Union is stronger than any love for the Union. Why? Because they would not have campaigned for Brexit. They would not be supporting Brexit today. Because no unionist can look at Brexit and say this was good for the Union. The DUP have done more damage to the Union, more damage to Northern Ireland's position in the Union than Sinn Féin or the IRA could have ever achieved. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.